Uh, Get this loaded up and all that. I wonder if the algorithm is actually going to bolster me up despite never ever streaming at this time of day at all. Today's the first. I think the only time I've ever possibly have streamed like this if I've like just straight done on all nighter or have just streamed so long that it just ends up being this long. So that's pretty fucking rare. So a little treat, I guess. Alrighty. Getting some small material kind of going and all that, just so I can keep the brain from being too frizzle frazzled. You streaming this early in the morning? Yep. Fixing up my sleeping. And also, I had like a little food poisoning from over the weekend, and they just like fucked me. And then when I finally felt good, it was like 8 or 9 on Sunday in the evening. So I was just like, you know what, fuck this. I'm going to try to sleep as much as I can for the rest of that evening, which I pretty much did. And then I just went up and just did a bunch of shit in the middle of the night here. A bunch of shit. And then once it was like early enough for me to go out and do a few other things, that's pretty much what I've been doing. And now I'm taking a break and having a coffee. And I got like 3 or 4 more things I'm doing today. So I'm just getting a lot of shit done today. I'm making this like a fuck like need to like I need to get out my ass today, and also I'm just like, hey, if I'm gonna reset my day, might as well make the most out of that, you know. So that's what I'm doing. I pretty much got like the biggest chunk of this day done, but now I need to kind of do the last half of it. So, but then after that, it's just kind of filling the rest of the evening with something because I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do for the rest of the evening. I was half tempted to maybe hit Stefan up and be like, hey, what are you doing this evening? If you're not hanging out with anyone or some shit, want to go to protest with me if you're not in town yet, or if you are back in town? I don't know if he is back in town or not, so I'm gonna find out what's up with that. Because if he is, I don't know, fuck it. Him and I were talking about going out there at some point when he comes back from Philly, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with all that. If not, then I might just go. Fuck it. I haven't been there for like a month, and I don't know, it'll be a good little fun treat for myself, you know, after doing some shit today. Ugh. I'm definitely not too used to being like super actively up right now. Unless it's like going to sleep with after a fucking kickback at Logan's because people don't leave after like way too long at his place. The last time there was an extensive kickback, like the people didn't leave until like 1 in the fucking afternoon. I was just like, Jesus Christ. It's like, I wonder why my sleep gets fucked up ever so often. Oh, I don't know. That. It's like, fuck. Not blaming Nogan, though. I'm blaming the people that won't fucking leave so we could, like, relax and not have to deal with people. 35 push-ups, champ? Nah. One, I'm not in the mood for that. And two, even if I want to, you gotta give me money for that. $1 a push-up. Like, dead ass $1 a push-up. If I was in the mood for it, which I'm not. That's problem, bro. Thanks. She's been used up enough to where like the metrics part of this is faded to shit, but you know, what you gonna do? I'm honestly surprised there's like people in here right now. I like stream usually like 12-hour difference from right now. I'm usually like the earliest normally would be like maybe 7 or 8, but usually I'm doing it like 10 or 11 in the evening. And then we keep going until like usually give or take like 1, 2 in the morning. But now it's like quite the opposite. Not that we're going to be doing this for that long. I'm just here to hang out and have coffee and chill and all that. It's snowing here. We just got an atmospheric river, and this is like one of the days that it's like over. We're having another one, but from where we're at, it's gonna hit north of us in like the Victoria Island area and shit like that, and like Canada a little bit. So we might get drizzled, but we're not having the atmospheric river round 2, so that's good. Jay from Jay Silent Bob. No, more like Joe Dirt, aka David Spade. Why does everyone not know like the names of these fucking actors? Like, go look up fucking David Spade, and I actually kind of look a little bit more like a lookalike of him. Actually, hold on. Let me untie this. Now I do. There we go. Now, go look up various different pictures of David Spade, and now go fucking, like, look back. I legit kind of have, like, his look. At least, especially when he played Joe Dirt and around that time. Even in his older age, like, he looks like me if I was, like, 45. So, you know, and honestly, I'm like, hey, if I even look anything remotely like him, you know, like, by the time I'm 45, I'll be happy. I think he's legit my celebrity lookalike. Even though we don't, like, exactly look alike, we look enough. It's kind of crazy, lol. I mean, I know for a fact we're not related at all. I mean, and also, I do know he has a brother that has the same first name as in my name. It's not, my first name is not his first name, but I go by that name. But I was just like, when I found that out, I was just like, oh God. And then I found out what he looked like, and I was also like, oh, thank God, because he does not look anything like him. He doesn't look anything like David. So I'm just like, okay, in a weird way, thank fuck. But he also looks like weird. He looks like a dude who would probably be in the files. You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh God. I'm gonna ask where you're from. I'm from the PNW. I figured mentioning Victoria Island would have given a hint. Oh, wait, it's Joe Dirt. Yeah, what's the name of the actor? We were actually just talking about him there, buddy. What's the name of the actor that plays him? I dare you to know what his name is. I'll take him with a badge of honor, but at this point, I'm going to start quizzing people about, like, who the fuck that guy is. David Spade. Good. Good on you. Because honestly, I've just accepted the fact he is kind of a fucking, you know, celebrity lookalike for me. And also Mitch from Dazed and Confused. Like, if you saw me from, like, 10 years ago, which arguably you could. Actually, you can for sure. If, like, you go on my channel and go from the oldest videos and then go look up Mitch from Dazed and Confused, tell me I do not look almost fucking identical to that kid. I'm just like, what the fuck? For a while, he was my celebrity lookalike, but then I've, like, evolved, I guess, you know, and I didn't become, like, a weird-looking kid. And now I'm like, all right, now I got a little bit of that David Spade in me. Look like the time traveler. Is that a Ligma? I got good with a Ligma the other night, you know, so I'm like, my head is kind of like on a swivel on that one. Mike Markham. Doesn't sound like it. I think I'm good. I think I'm safe. Would you do boxing or Muay Thai or karate or jiu-jitsu? I've kind of done karate a little bit. I mean, I probably wouldn't qualify anymore, but the last time I was, I think I was like a brown stripe or something like that. I forgot exactly, like at least for karate, like what the exact like tier levels are, but I was kind of like second to third ish. Like I never got like super extensive into it, but I know I kind of knew a few things, and I still kind of do. I mean, though to be fair, like the specific techniques and stuff don't necessarily really help you in a real fight. I mean, they can, and broadly, especially with coordination and all that shit and balance and stuff, it does help. But the actual like techniques specifically don't exactly, help you as much. I mean, they can. Boxing works. Oh, but yeah. Boxing is just straight up like, fists up kind of thing. And that I know. I don't have to do boxing to know that. I mean, it's all about like keep it to the front, keep your face, guarded, and kind of keep moving. And also, you want to use your body when you're throwing punches. You want to put your fucking body into it. And if you really want to throw one, you really put your body into it. You don't want to just like, you want to kind of almost sideways it, throw it in and put momentum with your body into it. Like, in a weird way, boxing is fairly easy to understand, but it's about strength and endurance, especially. So, I mean, it's, and especially if like how many hits it could take too, because there are definitely different strategies to boxing. A lot, a good one that I know that people like Muhammad Ali would do is like usually they'll just kind of wait it out, take their hits, throw maybe a few in there here and there, but they wait for their other opponent to tire down, and then once they see a weak point, they just unleash. So it just like go burst mode. So I mean, and honestly, in a way, that's kind of like my thing. I mean, because I know for a fact I don't really have as much endurance as I want to, but I know in a burst, I could throw some shit in a burst. So I'd rather wait it out and let someone get tired out or just find a prime weak point and then go for that. Though to be fair, I definitely don't like want to fight. I'm not much of a fighter. I have been in some before. Don't necessarily like it, but I have. So it's always good to at least know the basics. If you know enough of the basics, even if you don't really have like the strength or endurance as much, you should be able to hold out on your own enough. If you unfortunately find yourself in that position. But frankly, like 90% of the time, or like really even more than that, like 95 to 99% of the time, where something may or may not lead to a fight, I usually just either talk it out or just walk away because it's never really worth it. It's always usually over just some dumb shit, and it's just not worth it. The most it's worth it is just to talk it out, basically. And if you can't talk it out from there, then it's an impasse, and just, like, all right, well, fuck you, then I'm out. Like, there you go. That's, to me, preferable in every metric than just fighting it out, because not always that's all saying. Sometimes it does. Like, sometimes you just gotta say, all right, well, you're not learning. You're being a shit. But, that's pretty rare for me. And frankly, it takes like some extreme circumstances for me to feel like that, should be like something that happens. And usually by the time I have witnessed something like that happening, usually other people have stepped in and had it addressed. And usually it gets solved because other people got involved before I did. So that, or I just don't know what the fuck the context is and I'm not getting involved. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Someone said what to who? What? Who's what? Where? Okay, I don't know the context of this. I ain't pointing judgments here. I'll find out when dust settles. Some fist fights sad but true. Yeah. Especially here in America. I mean, hey, I got him. I'm a big lefty and and like all about like all that shit. And usually the misnomer is oh, we don't like guns, but oh, I love them. I got them myself. And that's another thing too. I mean, if people feel the need to where they need to whip that shit out, like as a way to basically end a fight or even start one, especially one, they should never have a gun in the first place. Fuck that person. They're showing themselves to be beyond irresponsible and not safe with firearms. And for two, it just shows how much of an insecure bitch they are. Like, if you think you need to shut down an argument with throwing out a piece, at somebody to shut them up, then you are a fucking insecure bitch. Luckily, I've never had that happen to me. I mean, I've had people that have had pieces on them before, and been like, "Hey, don't fuck around now," and I'd be like, "We're cool. I ain't fucking with you," but never in a problem. Like it's just something that once in a rare blue moon, I've had that happen. I'm like, "Hey, we're chill. I ain't got no problem." Hey, if something weird happens, I ain't gonna fucking snitch or something. You know what I mean? Like, if it ain't my problem, none of my business, right? So, I mean, that's the closest I would say that's ever gotten to that point, but it's never out of a threat. It's just more of like, hey, just mind yourself kind of thing. That person might be chill, but it's kind of letting you know other people might not. I mean, like I said, it is an unfortunate thing. And I do think there needs to definitely be restrictions when it comes to people getting firearms, at least having access to it because of shit like that. Because I mean, there's most gun violence arguably is literally because of stupid shit like that. It's not really because of mass shootings and a lot of these things, even though those are just as much of a problem. Like a lot of it's like smaller level violent crimes, even accidents, even where it's just like Elmer Fudd over there shot his fucking foot, tinkering around with his shotgun, or something. Or your drunk buddy accidentally shot your friend in the gut because they're all drunk and he's showing off the gun and didn't realize it was loaded. Shit like that. And people like that definitely shouldn't be having guns. And if they ever want them again, proving that they are that dumb, then they need to prove otherwise, and like show and overtly show that they are capable. If not, then tough shit. So honestly, pass the checks. I don't give a fuck what gun you get. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I've had it as far as I care. Collect like some old MG42 for all I give a fuck. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, hey, maybe it only shoots, single shots or whatever. You ain't gonna get the old, buzzsaw status on that thing, but hey, you know what? Let's have it. Or maybe you can only have it at a designated armory they have to go to in order to play around with it or something. You know what I mean? Just, some shit like that. Oh, here. I forgot to do alt measures now. Just to make sure. There we go. Cool. But I'm sure this conversation is very thrilling. The good old classic American pastime. Pew pews. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's see how long I want to stick around for. It's well after 11 here in my time. I think the latest I'll stick around is noon, maybe. Stick around for like an hour, give or take, or something. See what little things going on. Especially at least before I finish my day up. Oh. Probably do this just to keep her nice and juicy. Oh, sure. I'm gonna have to adjust this. Meow. 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 Yep, there we go. Up a little bit. Up a little bit. Up. There we go. There we go. Now we do that. Now I can plug you in. There we go. There we go. Oh, I need to get a new goddamn phone stand. This is sad. I don't even know how my other one fucking busted. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, get in there, you piece of shit. There we go. God damn it. Fucking had to shove you in there. What the fuck type of weird, like, joke is this? Won't answer us one day why I may have to has been use neither one, and the man responds, the reason why I have 4 legs, I can never keep them closed. 4? Where's the extra set? Where does that come from? What type of like old ass EES boomer fucking shit is this? Like, ay. It didn't really like, I don't know, that didn't really like land that well. At least not with me. Saying the man is dumb. Well, yeah, I'm hoping that's the actual punchline. I'm seriously hoping that is the case. Because if not, that just strikes me as some old school, like, boomer, like, hey, women, you know, kind of joke. The lips on a mouth and lips on a pussy. But there's no legs around the mouth. Oh my god. Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, Jess, that wasn't it. It literally was unironically women. That was, oh my god. Like, what? Where's the legs on the face? What are you, huh? Wouldn't that mean the dude's legs, because they're around her face giving a blowjob, if that's the context of the punchline of the joke? So wouldn't that mean that you should be keeping your legs closed? Huh? This is why boomer jokes are just fucking... They're just lame. Good lord. Wow. I know. I'm that's why I'm like face palming. It's just... Like, I know I'm like autistically analyzing the fuck out of the joke at this point, but I don't even care. 4 lips, duh. You said legs. You said 4 legs. That's that is the reason why you should always check your autocorrect and double check and proofread what you said before you send it. That's why you should do that, because, you know, that 4-letter word could be a major difference. Lips and legs are different. Yes, they are. If you said lips, it still would have been women, you know, kind of joke. But it at least would have made sense. Godbell Rocks, you're the one who mistyped lips with legs, you dipstick. But I'm dumber than Bob Rocks, even though you don't understand basic, like, fucking linguistics comprehension. Like, Jesus Christ. And thus proved it's basically me and Jess tried the same theory here, and, like, it proved it. So, yeah, okay. Sure, buddy. I can't figure it out. I did. I'm just fucking with you because you said legs, not lips, and I'm going to keep doing that because it's funny. I was tempted to just put you with a dunce cap for 300 seconds, but what's the fun in that? Blueberry yum. Blueberry yum yum. Blueberry pie, blueberry pie. Everybody wants a blueberry pie. Blueberry pie, blueberry pie. What? His that? His that? Huh? Gee, people are not able to... People are not being able to spell today. I don't know. This concerns me. You gonna show my legs? Yeah, I'm just like... Yeah, because I guess men, can't think with either head, so thus women ought to just close their legs and stuff or something. Which also, what's that even supposed to imply? Because, yeah, men dumb, but women talk and like to fuck, just like men do. And... Like, I mean, whatever. It's like, okay. What's that flag? Potato chip? Potato chip. I like that. It's just an alternate, like, U.S. flag, basically. It has the, like, anarcho-syndicalist symbol of, like, the Liberty Torch and hammer with, like, the cock around it with the 13 stars. And then, instead of, like, the, like a blue square, it's just diagonal and all that shit, so... Okay, I like the song, but I'm not feeling it right now. It's a little too, like, a little too intense. Lidatarod? Huh? Ignacio, what's up, Lidatarod? Huh? Were you trying to call me a libtard, but just, like, completely failed? Like, saying that? Like, what? What? Huh? I did Tarod. I did Tarod. Honestly, that's the first time I've seen that word. At least, from what I can recognize. It's a country. There's no way that's a country. What? Where? Iditarod? I've never heard of that place. I've never heard of that country before. That's a real place? I'm half tempted to look that up, but I'm like, I don't want to, like, get off of this. Yeah, no way. No. I feel like that's some bullshit. Nah, bro, yeah, it's Alaska dog sled racing. Oh, that's cool. You ever tried psychedelics? Yep. The first time it did was with acid, and I have like a whole story of that one. And then after that, I've done mushrooms various times, mostly with microdosing or like between like micro and like full dosing, kind of like in between. But I'd say like the most I have done with that would actually be like the first time I saw Fishbone, because I took probably almost a quarter. And then like off and on throughout the show, like I would like sneak outside, eat a little bit more, as like the show was progressing. So every band was get more intense, once like Fishbone came out. I don't even remember how long that show went on for. I just was in the zone, you know what I mean? It was awesome. And then I've done it various different times, off and on, before and after. Even on streams too before. On microdose every so often, and basically be just litty big 80, sometimes going off on random little rants or sometimes even being like a character of some sort. I remember one time I microdosed and I end up being like a preacher, basically, with like being like these false Christians, I say, kind of shit, you know what I mean? So I do not know the name of the Holy Lord and have cursed his name and have damned the name of the Lord and blah, blah, blah. I was like kind of popping off there for a bit. It's kind of a fun one. And I also have a bunch of it right now. I just haven't really been in the mood to take any. I've been like tempted to maybe like microdose a little bit, but not like a lot, but like a small amount, like really small. But I don't know. I might not. I got like probably like 3 different variations or something, because I get them from my buddy who doesn't do them, but he has like somebody who goes into his work and tips him shrooms every so often, and he just gives them to me because I'm like the only one in the friend group that takes them. So I just get free shrooms every so often. It's pretty dope. I dig it. You also counter divine spirit session. These law uses reported. Yes. Honestly, for me, no. I have been in like very deep ponderous thought and stuff like that, but not like anything I'd say as like I've had like outright my third eye open. I mean, the closest would be with that Fishbone show, but I was just like, but because of the show, everything was just absorbed into that and the people around me and all that shit. So it wasn't like, divine spirit shit. It's just like my world just became this like venue and nothing else mattered. And even like, like parts of the venue were just like literally a void. Like, I mean, like I know there were walls there, but it was just like, it felt like more of just like a void that just kind of went off. You know what I mean? And then there was just like the stage right there, and even behind it in itself had like this really like cool projection and a void of its own, even though it's just like literally the backdrop. So there was like a lot of really cool elements of, like visually about the show that I wouldn't say were like like psychedelic in the sense that I was like seeing extra stuff. It just kind of altered like the perspective of like my place in the venue and shit like that, where it just kind of made it seem like it was like a map where it's like really small and then there's like thick fog that just kind of is like the borders of that map or something. It was kind of like that, like so I mean either way, it was actually like, really awesome, but just nothing I'd say that's like, divine or anything. I suppose in a weird way I was teleported into just this own little zone, but that's about as close as I could say I got to that. Weirdly enough, I'd say I've had like more like ego death slash like divine, like, oh shit, like, existentialism being really high on weed. And that's me being a stoner, because every so often I just, will find like a really good bud that just gets me like pretty stoned. And once in a blue moon, pretty rarely these days, but every so often I'd be like, whoa, just like, oh shit. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's been a year since that. Arguably, I'd say that I've, can kind of get those sometimes just on the virtue of just, my thought process sometimes. So I don't know, like I yearn for it in a weird way. Like I want to see like, the pink elephants and shit, you know what I mean? Like I do want to have like a trip where I do see some shit like that. And maybe I think it'll be good to maybe be like chilling somewhere, than being out and about. Because usually outside of like some of the microdosing I've done, usually I'm always usually like out and about doing stuff. So I don't know. It doesn't really like hit me as much as I think it probably could. Except that acid trip. That just that was waves of just constant like all night and all morning shit. That was something different. I wouldn't mind doing it again, but I just like that was like the one time I was even remotely close to having access to it. That's why I took the chance when I did. But no, well, I'm sure I could find some if I really wanted to. There's plenty of like events and stuff, especially with the spring and summertime around here, like with Petapalooza and shit like that, and Loud and Lit bike ride that happens here. Like, there's a lot of things where I can easily find people that are like selling acid and shrooms and shit. I mean, it's not uncommon. So I know I could find a motherfucker if I really wanted to. No, I'm running out of my coffee. No, makes me sad. At least 200 milligrams in this little fucker. It's like a little buckshot. And it must also be like one of the few, like, just unironically hypocritical lefties that, would drink this. This Black Rifle coffee. Honestly, it's not my fault this shit tastes good. Literally the only reason why I drink these, just because they actually taste good. Starbucks is bunk. I've tried like Pete's coffee or whatever. Ugh. Like, unless I make it myself and I like brew it myself, like, I mean, I'm weirdly picky about it. Even though I'm not like a coffee snob, I just want it to taste good. That's it. And these, they taste good. So, so I drink them. Even though they're kind of a mega chud kind of company. And I think one of the owners has like some silly podcast, and I'm pretty sure RFK was on there one time. And, you know, I can only imagine what that was all about. So I'm like, so, why can't there be a coffee that's actually like decent, and I, don't have to waste time making a bunch? That, where's that? I prefer that. I will say their advertisements are fucking ridiculous. How old were you when you first got laid? Probably just after I turned 19. Just after. I almost did at 18, but then with the same friend, eventually happened a little later down the line. A couple months later. Damn. Hey, there's some people that lose that shit by the time they're like 22 or 23, dog. Like, whatever. Happens at different time lengths and time frames for for different people. I will admit, honestly, like, I will say, I probably could have had it sooner, so to speak, if I probably just didn't give a fuck. Because frankly, at a certain point, I just like, it'll happen when it does. And then, like, unironically, within like months later, my buddy, who's kind of like my friends with benefits, even still to this day, he ended up kind of warming up to me a lot, and I was like, okay. I was like, all right, this works. So, if I just kind of had that same like mentality, honestly, just like before, probably would have happened, like a year sooner or something. You could play guitar. That I do. I actually play multiple instruments. I play trumpet. Well, I haven't played that in a while, but I'm starting to kind of play it again to kind of get my chops back. But I need to clean it and get new valve oil and stuff for it. And poor thing is getting really sticky and needs a lot of work. I also play bass. I sing, and then I also not like completely, but we'll do like synths, keys, and then like percussion stuff like that. But not as like a sense of like I can like be in like a band with it. But if I like wanted to mess around with it, add like cool stuff for like background shit, and other things, I could do that. Like if I wanted to make a song, using like MIDI, some keys, and like a drum machine or something, I can easily do that. Guess from there. Well, you guessed right. I actually have my acoustic over there right now. That's just hanging out in this other chair. It's just kind of like a octave up bass, basically, because it's only got 4 strings on it. And unfortunately, she's a little banged up, needs a little love too. But honestly, I kind of want to write a song with how it is right now, because weirdly enough, it has its own weird little interesting sound to it the way it is right now. So I kind of want to do like a one-off song and like do kind of like a live, so to speak, recording, kind of like a Jess Wells status way of doing that, or something, and then maybe go to one of my friends' studios and actually have it recorded, and at least to have that, just as like kind of a little foot in the door with writing a song, especially with just how that is, just because why the fuck not? What is this? Uh, I don't. So, do you want the explanation? It's kind of a wild one. Well, not really, but for me, it really is. Yes. Well, Saturday I kind of had a little food poisoning. I think it was some of my leftovers. I think it started going a little bad, and then and I was supposed to like get some shit dropped off for my folks and stuff, but I was just kind of like fuck recovery mode and all this other shit. And then luckily around like I don't know 9 or 10 or some shit on Sunday at night, I started feeling fine, and I was like, well, the day's done. I can't do shit, So I was like, fuck it. I'm just gonna like deal some shit here at the place, and I got various different things done now, and a lot of shit, kind of set up and everything, and now I just need some boxes and a bunch of other stuff and different things. Ugh. And then at a certain point, once it was like I don't know 6 o'clock in the morning, I was like, all right, I'm gonna crack my first coffee. I still have that can right here. I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna like just keep going. I'm gonna have a shower and do that really quick and all that, and just get a bunch of fucking shit done today. And then after that, went dropped a bunch of shit off for my mom and pop like over at where they're staying out right now, which is like 20-minute walk or something for me. Hung out with them for a little bit and then came back here doing this for a bit. And then now I got like 4 other things to do for today, but that's more later in in the afternoon. I don't really need to do it like now. So especially with the coffee I got, I want that to kind of wear off a little bit. I don't really necessarily need that for a little later. And now you're going to be moving out of your place soon. Yeah, and Logan's moving out of his place. I mean, I guess it's just yeah, that kind of time of the year, or just that time of people's chapters, I guess. I'm just like, I'm wondering, like, at this point, because I found out at least been pitched, because they know my friend Logan's moving, at least with my folks, they're like, well, why don't you move in with him? And my friend Logan was already talking about that too. And I was just like, we already vibe and chill. And his dogs are the older brother and sister to my dog. That's perfect. Like, those three will easily get along. There ain't got to be no problems there. Vito might just get jelly and be like, Zukov's eating my food. Vito's going to be Vito. You know what I mean? But Zukov's going to be Zukov. So, I mean, that's not going to be a big deal at all. So, I mean, in a way, that might work. I'll have to talk to him about that later today. That's something I can chat him up about, and if that's the case, then I mean he's looking for a new job too. So arguably, like if I know there's really some spots available where I'm like, hey, I found this, I got settled in over here, but I know these places are hiring over here and stuff. At least for a meantime until something that you would generally want comes through or whatever the fuck, right? Like so. I don't know. There's like, there's options around there, which in a way would kind of offer me a little relief, I will admit. I mean, in a sense, because I will say, at least like, being on my own a little bit, that, there's other caveats and other shit where I'm like, wait a minute, though, hold up, but at least with that, I'll be like, well, half the time I'm already kind of hanging out at Logan's spot because I watch his dogs a lot, and all that shit. So I mean, and we already jive well. We're close friends, practically brothers, So I mean, that already works. Oh yeah, now I get to walk all three of them. Oh god. And Vito's already crazy, and Zukov just loves to wander and just do his own fucking thing and sniff everything. Oh my god, that's gonna be all three of them. Oh boy. Oh, that would be fun though. I'm up for the challenge, and it'll be great. In time, in time. That'll definitely be something that I'll be kind of you know hopefully thinking for as an option because there are different spots that Logan's thinking of that are in not like this area that I'm at, but like adjacent areas that are actually pretty close to different things that would work for all of us. So I'm like, And there's also at least like another, because the only other person he's thinking of is like a really good friend of ours from the pool hall that's up the road here. And because he's looking for a new place too pretty soon. And he's wanting it to be in the area too. So basically, if everything all works out, arguably, like three dudes, like in the area and with doing that shit, like that would fucking work. And plus, like we all be chilling, doing our like. If anything, we probably wouldn't even need to find an apartment. We could probably find like a small little like house to rent or something. Who knows? Something in the works. I think that could possibly be options. Which, hey, fingers crossed. Hopefully, honestly, if we can find the best ways to lighten the load, then fuck it. That's how I view it. Crack a little bit of this Arizona. Got strawberry, kiwi, Arizona. These things always come in clutch sometimes. I also got a little bit of Winco tendies left. And I really wish I had like a few like pickle slices. Because when I reheat them, I could put the pickle slices on them. So then its juices absorb, You know how like you got like a chicken sandwich, you know what I mean? To get those pickles on it. You get that thing going down, you know what I mean? I'm just like, I don't have any though. I have honey mustard, so that's a good alternative. But I'm just like, God, I don't have the pickle though. I need a pickle. And I got no pickle. Yeah, that's what time it is. I'm kind of surprisingly killing a decent amount of time. About 1:30. I'm actually kind of surprised we've been somewhat steady. Not like popping or nothing necessarily, but chilling. I dig that, honestly. I wasn't really wanting it to be too crazy. I kind of, it's Monday. The skibbities are in school. All that shit. They're probably on TikTok because they can't be on YouTube watching long form shit, so they're on their TikToks and all that other shit. Okay, I see what's going on. So that's why most of the adults are around, and they're not really as into the lives as much like this. I see what's happening here. On top of the fact that I just literally never stream at this time, there is that. There is multiple factors to that, but hey. Honestly, like once things get settled in and all that shit for me again, I will say, I might be able to start having these happen more often. Maybe not exactly at this time, but it's 1:30 there. No, I said 11:30. What did I like slip into say 1:30? I'm at 11:30. If it was 1:30, I'd be like, well, hold up, I need to like start doing my thing. I'm kind of thinking, or misheard. I know every now and then I do kind of Freudian slip, but will say something or even like repeat something instead of like, saying, what I'm like trying to say in my head. I know, for example, I will say something like, man, the heat that gets in the heat, but or something like that. When I mean like the heat that gets in the bowl or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I'll try to say something like that, but I'll just like say the heat in the heat or something. Like I know I will catch myself saying that, then without really addressing it, I'll just actually repeat and say what I'm trying to say. But I will catch myself sometimes, so I know even I will like slip occasionally, and sometimes it'll just slide by me. So either way, I am kind of thinking honestly. when I'm done with my stuff, with all said and done, I'm kind of like, should we go to the South Waterfront? Because it's been a minute since I've been out there. I've been kind of thinking about it. Because I know it's been a while since, I don't know, probably at this point, like a month. Thing is, I just need to figure out, like, a battery charger situation, though. Because, I did find one here, but the thing to charge it with, like, the actual port is fucked, so I can't charge it. I'm just like, God damn it. It's this close. But I could swore I had like another one lying around, and I'm gonna hope, fingers crossed, that it works, even though it's probably old and probably won't. But if it does, even if it only lasts like 30 minutes or some shit, I don't give a fuck. Like, it'll be enough to at least make it last longer than like an hour and a half. So, I'm thinking when I dip, I'll probably try to find that around because I know I have an old one in a garage, and I don't know if it's the fucked one or not. I think I might have one in my room, maybe. Though I think I would have seen it by now because I'm kind of organized and got that room cleared out enough so that, so I'm like, I would have found that by now if I did. Unless it's like in a drawer that I know I couldn't quite get to yet and I haven't really fucked with yet. So there's an off chance it might be in there now that I think of it. I'm just like, at this point, I'm just like kind of like thinking out loud because I'm like, But, wouldn't be that big of a deal. The fuck, honestly, I could probably just ask somebody if they have like a little station, like if they're playing beats or something, be like, hey, it's cool if I just chill here, charge my shit while I'm over here hanging out. Won't be here forever. I just want to charge it up to this amount of percentage so I can keep going for a little longer or something. Yeah, I could probably do that. I'm sure they'll be chill for that. I don't think that like a Revolution DJ guy will be there because I know he's only really there on the weekends. No, I don't know. There's no off chance that he might be there. I know, honestly, the last like couple weeks and stuff, it's actually been kind of popping. I know part of it, I think, is because there's like the case between the landlord and ICE and with the protesters going on in Portland right now. So, I mean, I think that's probably a part of it. There's like a little momentum, around it. It's not exactly the way I would be dealing with ICE right now, but something, I guess. Because the whole point is basically their misuse of munitions, mainly tear gas, which are against local ordinance and laws in the area, including fines against hazardous material that are even in like a school zone, because there's an elementary school literally like 4 or 5 blocks down the road from this place where kids can't go to school because it's so toxic, so they have to go to a temporary place right now. And it's just like, so I mean, at this rate, especially with like the various different times they've used it, like they could rank up in an extensive amount of fines, but that's not kicking them out though. I mean, I guess that can encourage the landlord to just like finish the lease once it's over, and then at that point they gotta leave. But I don't know. I don't know that would work. ICE would probably just find some yes man to just like buy the lease and then just like they just kind of do business as usual. So I don't know. I mean, it's very lib way to deal with them. Thanks, Portland, but hey, it's something, I guess. A slap on the wrist is better than nothing, I guess. I mean, yay, yippee skippy. What's the flag behind you? It's a anarcho-syndicalist flag. Like kind of an alternate version of like an American one, where it has like the Liberty Torch and hammer with the cog, but with the 13 stars around it and stuff. Just basically like an alternate American flag, for the most part. It's based off of this one that's over here, which is pretty much relatively the same. but a little different. Well, a lot different, but you know, you get the point. Oh, that felt good. Same, but different. Yep. Brotherhood of Steel ass flag. You know, honestly, I kind of see that. I honestly, in a weird way, kind of see that a little bit. Or the Enclave. Though, low key, fuck the Enclave. That's what I thought. I mean, you know, I could see it. I mean, hey. It's something. Hey, you know, now that it's been brought up, I didn't ever think about that, but now that I think about it, I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, to be fair, it is technically actually based off of a game. I don't know if anyone's played Hearts of Iron 4, but there's a mod called Guys Are Like, this is actually where it really is from. It's basically, it literally is an alternate, like, American flag where depending on which direction you go with the U.S. in that game, you can be like the syndicalist, you know, like faction of America. And depending on where you go with how you do that, this is one of the flags that, you know, kind of changes, you know, depending on which route you take. So, I mean, I just like it because it generally looks nice. So, I like flags. First it's like punch your front, and now they thought Fallout. Oh my god, no! Don't make me think that. Now you're gonna make me want to put it away. What the fuck? You know what? That's a good way to. You know what? Hold on. That's actually a good way to sniff out some of those motherfuckers. You know what? No, I'm keeping it up there actually. No, I'm just cynical. Well, you know what? Honestly, now that you made me think of it, that's a good way to like see which ones, you know, this MAGA types be like, oh, you know what? That's why I think every so often I get people like, you Trump guy, and I'm like, fuck no. But I think this is why probably. You know what? I'm gonna go with that. I will say, answering the like, what flag is that? Like every 5 minutes is a little like, oh my god. So I will say that. I should probably flip these around. I feel like it's way quicker to answer this one than the other one because this one is, well, based off the same thing I was saying from earlier, but it's just, you know, the red banner version, you know, so. That one's a lot easier to just explain because I could just say it's like, you know, like the syndicalist red banner flag. There you go. Or at least a variation of it. So that's actually easy to just like be very quick to the point. This one takes more explanation, so maybe I should just flip these around. I'm not doing it right now, though. I'm a little too lazy for that. Chilling too much for that shit. Love from UK, brother. If you love me so much, then buy some elaborate Hispanic seasonings and Mexican seasonings and put that shit on your beans and toast. You need like that, like Spanish delicious, like spicy beans, you know, on that toast if you're gonna do beans on toast. Just saying, but much love back. Though honestly, out here in the U.S., there's not really much to love these days. Unfortunately. What's strange? Honestly, it's kind of a little salad of both. I know one of them is chicken and waffles. Yes, that's the name of it. And honestly, I don't know what the other one is. It was a random like bag I actually found in my drawer that I forgot about. I was like, oh shit, cool. I was like, surprise weed. That's always, that's always amazing. Holy shit! I was just talking about it. Wait, hold on. Dude, Krieg Lord. We were just talking about this. Holy fuck it! Actually, oh my god, we were just talking about this. Oh wow! Holy shit! Within like what 5 minutes of just be like, yeah, actually, it's not a bad idea. Boom, boom. Holy shit! By the way, no, I'm not MAGA. Is it because you saw this and or something, and you thought like, oh, this must be a patriot? Is that it? Because if so, bingo. That's what it is. Because you can't really like you see a hammer, but like so honestly, like with the cog and everything, I mean, stuff like that is usually affiliated with like lefty stuff. I mean, I guess it's the blue, red, white, and everything like. And I guess it is a little slightly like folded over, but it's a mullet accent. Well, joke's on you. This is not a mullet. Got that going on. I don't know what the fuck is going on there, but in my accent, what's the accent? I mean, I don't have that much of a southern drawl. I can actually do a pretty good southern drawl if I really want to. I mean, I got family from Texas. Go out there sometimes. Not all the time, but I tell you what, I naturally could do this if I want to. I just choose not to. I got like more of a PNW mixed mutt accent thing going on. So, god damn it, even saying going on was definitely a little southern drawl. See, it naturally just comes out of me. What is the flag? It's a syndicalist flag. It's just like an American alternate, like American flag with the syndicalist symbol on it, with the torch and then the hammer on it with the cogs, but with the 13 stars around it. And then instead of like a blue square, it's diagonal like this with the 13 stripes kind of going on the other side. I just think it looks nice because I like alternate like American flags and shit like that. It's sure shit is not a Confederate flag. Quite the opposite, arguably. You got soft hands. These are true workman's hands, and you got with soft hands. You vote for Trump, right? Fuck no. Brother. Damn, brother. With those soft hands, brother. You wouldn't even be able to swat a fucking fly. Okay, good. What are your pronouns? I'm starting to wonder if you're not... I don't think you're a right-winger now that I'm starting to notice that with these questions. I will, if you want the real, true, blunt answer, I mean, I guess he, him, but really it could be they, them. I don't really care that much. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like, my gender is just however the fuck I fucking feel like it to be. I mean, I'm a dude and I'm comfortable being such, but, at the end of the day, if I was a chick or literally had, like, that transhumanistic, like, cyberpunk technology to, like, where I can basically have some cyber dick or cyber pussy, like, whenever the fuck I want kind of shit, I'd be like, I'd do that. I'd be like, I feel like being a woman this week, just for, of course, you know what I mean? Like, maybe not feel, but, like, I'm feeling this way now. Like, I'm feeling a little feminique, a little femme fatale, for right now and stuff, like. So, I can still like you to continue flying to the honeypot all day. Well, at least for Berber, I don't know if they are. The other one, maybe. But hey, the experiment is working. or at least works enough. You know what the pronouns are. Then what are your thoughts on the orange one? It's the orange one. The way that was said, the orange one. Be two chicks at the same time. If I could, I would. Just for the hell of it. But for the orange one. The orange Farquaad himself. I don't know, like, I will say I kind of have to sit here white knuckle and be like, I can't really say what I feel because, you know, YouTube would be not happy about that, like, at all. Rose, the orange one. For real, dude, what the fuck? But, I guess the TLDR version, he's a fucking orange Farquaad rat bastard that is a pedophilic demon bitch from hell that should go back from the depths of hell from where he came from. And it's also him and his, you know, cabinet is trying to incite a holy war, you know, not just in the name of Israel, but for evangelical Christian death cultism as well. So, you know, fucking psychotic fucking administration, rat bastard piece of shit. Yeah, I mean, like I said, can't exactly go in every little bit of detail. I mean, I could elaborately, but, you know, I just don't want to, like, you know, go, like, in too much detail for right now. Though, arguably, we'll definitely be back later tonight. And, I don't know, depending on, my mood, you know, might be, at the protest against ICE today, later, maybe not. I don't know. I'll see what my time frame looks like. I'm kind of thinking about it. Feel you guys from across the pond. I feel like most of the world feels that way. And honestly, like, all, like I was watching some of the, like, the public broadcasts, like, news and stuff, off and on throughout the night. And, oh my god, dude, our media, when it comes to discussing this fucking shit for on, and even, like, this whole, like, sleeper cell shit, it was driving me up a fucking wall. I weirdly was, like, half tempted to stream for, like, 30 minutes to be like, listen to this shit. I, like, want to be able to show you, but I could just sit there at the edge of the bed just being like, look, just listen to that. It just fucking rants. Because I was just like, holy fuck, the actual just utter lies and bullshit, and even this fear-mongering about this, like, sleeper cell shit. Because mark my fucking words on this one. Like, any possible, like, terror attack or mass, like, you know, attacks and shit that may or may not be tied to Iran or at least some affiliate, you know, of Iran is most likely definitely either going to be Mossad or CIA kind of shit. Like, I'm calling it right the fuck now. There's going to be a lot of fishy shit around that something like, you know, like that happening to get us more escalated to be like, oh, see, sleeper cells are here. That's, you know, kind of exactly where, you know, I'm assuming, you know, things are going to be happening, and I guarantee you it will. It is too fucking fishy with this whole, especially when the media is constantly pushing the narrative. Like, that was one thing that I was like, whoa. Like, they kept mentioning it over and over and over again. I was like, they are really trying to get that in people's minds, in people's heads, to think that, like, oh, is there an Iranian sleeper cell behind me? Is he in the room with us right now? They're trying to manufacture consent. They did the same shit when it came to, like, Iraq and Afghanistan and leading up to 9/11 as well. Did the same shit. They're tactless, yeah. I mean, in a way, they're trying to, like, continue to manufacture consent for this fucking war after they started it. Bush, at least, was more cunning in a sense that he was manufacturing consent before he started the wars and got people, you know, to be gung-ho, hoorah about it at that point. Now, like, it's kind of the opposite. It's like, all right, we're going to go in there and then we'll get people to be on board for it later. That didn't really work now, did it? And the biggest irony too is that they unified the Iranian people way fucking more than ever at this point. And also there was like this other narrative with Iran that was like their air force and their army is just destroyed and obliterated, and they have like no real military anymore, which is just utter bullshit. Like, it's like, what? Yeah, they do. Do they realize that, like, just because they used a lot of their old shit, that was kind of out and about, like their older aircraft, and their, like their older equipment and munitions, and then their cheap Shahed drones that are like 50K a pop, which are not that, expensive to make, and they can make up to 500 a day, give or take. I mean, they're not sending all their shit out, and their military, especially their army, is sure as shit not destroyed. Their personnel is still very much like there. I mean, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And with the Navy too, like they're always, trying to be like, oh, but they're mining the Strait of Hormuz and they're doing that and blocking it and shit. Well, if their Navy's obliterated, how are they doing that? That don't make sense. That's a kind of contradiction in the narrative there too. So it's like, that's interesting. It's just like this whole fucking narrative around this shit is just so fucking bullshit. And it's so ridiculous that it was driving me up a fucking wall, dude. I was like kind of skimming between like Face the Nation. I think it was like a repeat on them. And it was like some late night from like KTU and then like Coin 6 and shit. And I was just kind of going back and forth between those three. And fucking Christ. It was just like, what is the fuck? Shit was driving me up a wall, dude. It was a gold vanish, but a wooden ship survived. Wait, what happened? Most people don't know what a goal is. Wait, what's going on here? Will Fate excuse for phone, maybe even draft. Hopefully not. Hopefully not a draft. But I will say, if that happens, I'm pretty sure we'll start seeing some stuff like, things that would, that did lead up to certain things like the Kent State massacre and shit like that. So, I mean, not that I, will want to see that happen, but I mean, if the draft were to happen, shit would get bad very fucking quickly. Here are the Epstein regime. Yep. Unfortunately. And the Epstein class fucking rules over us. They're still listening about the US Bank Tower and WTC. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's in the Epstein files too. If they have to draft, it would already be terrible. But the backlash from that, I think, would be immense, and due to that, I think there would be a lot of violent crackdown on people protesting on that to the point where there'd be fucking riots, like legitimately. And if it got to that point, I don't know if it would continue to be that way or even escalate further, but who fucking knows? Maybe back, you're too close to the screen. Is this better for you? Is that better? I'm saying the world will already be cooked at that point. Oh, just well, hopefully not. Can't believe that people think Iran is doing a cover up the Epstein files. Oh my god, I really hope they're not doing that. Like, or at least, they're not trying to push that narrative to the point where people believe it. I'm not to listening. Yeah, I am. Ironically, MAGA wouldn't want to be drafted by Katuna cosplay patriotism. Oh, of course they would. You know what? If the draft's going to happen, I vouch, to say, hey, every member of ICE should go first. Everyone in ICE should go out there first before anyone else, and then boom. That I'll be okay with. We won't ever do the draft again. I mean, I'm not. I don't know, but if I had to take a gut hunch, like, I'd say probably not. They have the equipment for it anyway, right? Budget and arms. Yeah, exactly. What you smoking on, youngster? What would you like to know? It's in all the metals, so if an ability to see yourself to go to gold from debris. What's with this gold stuff again? Unless they kicked up shit for like 4 countries. Well, I mean, aren't we kind of doing that a little bit? We're doing that with Iran now, and that could escalate to more than one country really quickly. What music you into? Some of this. Well, I can just bring it over here. And squeeze it over. Ska, metal, folk punk, blues, all sorts of stuff. How long does the bong rip buzz last? That depends on what weed you're smoking, for the most part. And depends how much of a stoner you are. There's a lot of factors to that there, my friend. For me, I don't know. Give or take 30 minutes. Which is about average time, you know. I'm in a metal band. Nice. One of my friends, I nicknamed Metal Team. He's in a band right now called Atomic Terror. He's going to be doing his own project, and I think probably being a different band soon, from what I've been hearing from the grapevine with him. But I do know that at some point that, you know, that's going to change. But as it stands now, they're still doing their thing. 30 minutes, he would do all this. What? The fifth you have a job. Why does it matter to you? Why does it matter if I have one or not? I'm literally hearing it out here, having a coffee, just chilling before I, you know, do my business for the day. Like, what the fuck are you on about? I love how there's just like this whole fucking weird emphasis of just like, oh wow, person streams in the middle of the day. It's like, jeez Louise. Americans are weird. Says the dude who's just well, let me ask you a random personal question, just, you know, apropos of nothing. Americans in your head rent free, bud. I mean, honestly, arguably, to be fair, I mean, I don't really blame him, but it's like, this one ain't it, Chief. That's just noble bait for people like him. Whatever, I don't care. I don't mind it. I just always leave it open-ended these days, you know, for the most part, just because it's just like, I mean, I had various different jobs and stuff off and on, you know, and like been in between different jobs, you know, even for months at a time and shit. It's like, I mean, there's like no shame and shit like that. I don't see how that's like such a big deal. Like, oh no. Trump supporter? Definitely not. Try again, buddy. I just started jamming with some dudes doing JSM covers so for now. That's pretty cool. Nice. At some point, I want to at least get my foot more in the door with playing some more music. Which sucks, these jobs just try to work you to death for crumbs. That's unfortunately a lot of them, you know, American economics for you. I even went back to my old workplace earlier today, hanging out. You know, some of my old coworkers that are still there. I don't know why. You know, hanging out, doing their thing. and it is fucking so much worse over there than when I used to work over there. I'm like, oh my fucking god, you know what? Like, I'm glad that I kicked that can when I did. Like, Jesus Christ. And even like, oh my god, even like the store director, the fucking bitch, like she was still there. Like I swear, she like saw me and then like souped around me like a few different times while I was hanging out there. And I was like, is she fucking like watching me or something? I can't even mention. It's like, she fucking watch me. And my old coworker, she's like, yeah, I mean, she does. She probably does recognize you. And I'm just like, I ain't doing nothing. It's like she can fuck off. I mean, she eventually wandered off and did her own thing because I think she realized I'm just talking and just hanging out, with like, an old friend of mine. It's like, so, but it was weird. I'm just like, why? Like, get out of here. Leave me alone. AI surveillance on the workforce kicking in. Yeah, especially like even with like employment stuff. That's one thing I've noticed, like, in the different jobs I've, done off and on. It's just fucking like, so much of it is done for like AI programs and stuff for employment where it's just utterly fucking detached, and it's like, oh my god, it's just gross. You do weird shit, watch you on the camera and start tracking you. I know, it's just like, it's just annoying. It's like, what, you think we're gonna be like jacking shit from you or like or something? Like, what do you think we're gonna be doing? We're there to do our damn job and like get paid for it because that's literally what we're there for. Like, what the fuck do you think what's gonna happen? I mean, like, good lord, it's ridiculous. But that's just unfortunately kind of the part of the reality of the work, working in that shit. But that's why I'm also an advocate for labor power, and and always advocate for labor advocacy because if more people realize that, hey, if we all got together and do something like and then like walk out and maybe force demands to be like, hey, we demand that we have these, basic agreements. So we actually like have a decent, wages, decent, working conditions. So we're not always like constantly fucked, actually have good, equipment, for our workplace, shit like that. Then, maybe we would actually, appreciate, working here a little bit more and maybe even be more productive and things like that. Hmm. Time theft says the time thieves. Yeah. And also ones that will also skimp off your wages too if they can get away with it. I've had times where that's happened with me with some different places where I would be forced to like work some overtime, and then there'll be like 3 hours of that not accounted for. And conveniently, the overtime hours. And I'm like, I think I'm owed some overtime pay and I never got it. I'm like, okay, well, this is a straight illegal. So I just quit. Like I was like, I constantly kept asking about it, and they said, the next paycheck. And it didn't. And I asked about it, and I wait for the next one. It didn't. And I was like, okay, well, now you're just fucking me. So I was like, well, bye. Fuck this. I'm not gonna get fucked over that. Plus, it didn't even fucking train me properly either. Like, cause I mean, it was a vape shop, so their whole ID check thing. When I was trained on it, they didn't. The person that did it didn't exactly train me in the exact proper fucking way that they wanted it to be done. So they also like wrote me up once, despite me being like, hey, I've even done like little extra little things, and all this other stuff and blah blah blah, like, and also like that overtime pay stuff, and all that shit. And then they did that, and then I got like my paycheck like next day or two, and after that, I was like, you know what, if this is gonna happen, fuck this. I was just like, no, I'm not gonna deal with this. That's just bunk. Play video games? Not in a long while, but yeah, I play some video. There we go. Have you started working out yet? No sucks, but you won't regret it. I mean, I don't actively work out. It's something that I want, start doing more often, though, for sure. Is that legal where you live? Yeah, I could literally walk in, like it's a 7-Eleven, buy some, and walk right out. And yeah, it very much so is. And it's awesome. West Coast, best coast, baby. Well, speaking of, actually, we'll probably at least get one more load up here. Do at least a little last call for for now. I'm either going to do two things. Well, I guess technically maybe three. The first one is either I'll just eventually come back and we'll do part two and we'll hang vibe, talk more about some other shit. I'll probably catch up more about some of the news today and see what else has been going on, yada yada bullshit, and all that fun shenanigans. And two is I'm thinking about maybe going to the South Waterfront, to check out the protests. It's been about like a month since I've been there, so it's been a minute. So I'm kind of thinking, we'll check that out possibly, for a little bit, for however long, my phone decides to be charged for that shit. And then for three, do both. Chances are it'd be both. So, but I don't know. We'll see what my time frame looks like. I do want to at least, get some of these old fucking caffeine jitters off though. So definitely want to at least, like wait till a little later this evening if I do that. Which once I finish up my stuff, it should be probably about like 5 at the latest. So I'll have some time. I'll have some time and all that shenanigans. Where is that? There it is. There's my little Toka Poka. Got a bit of kush today. Well, that's kind of what I've been doing, like all night last night, this morning, and now this afternoon. I'm just kind of taking a little break. Actually, about to eat some lunch first before I, finish up with the rest of my shit. Ooh. That's a very interesting, like creamy kiwi strawberry like flavor burp. I don't know how I feel about that. That's better. But like I said, we'll probably do both of those things, like I was referring to from earlier. Finish up my little mojo of the day before we're doing all that. Get this last little bastard loaded up, to get myself some lunch and all that shenanigans. I'll say if I do the thing with ice later tonight, which will probably be, I'd say, like maybe 7-ish or 8, probably a little sooner than that. If anything, I'll see if there's like a live stream going on sometime, later this evening, before I get there, just to kind of gauge on what the vibe looks like, and see what's going on. I don't know if I should bring my tear gas mask or not. You never know, but I know ice has kind of, been prohibited for now, at least, from using it. So I don't really think I need it. Probably better safe to sorry. The last time I did that, there was tear gas involved. So honestly, probably best safe than sorry on that one. Probably. Idiot. It's all good for the rest of the afternoon. Like I said, probably back a little later. And with all that, peace out and toodaloo, buckaroos.